I'm going to show you a little about, hello, Miss Armour here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the Web 2.0 tool Socrative today. Socrative, much like the Socratic method, famous question asking system for discussion, is a great tool to use if you want to put quizzes online or put challenges and questions for kids online. When you open up a Socrative account, you will get a dashboard much like the one you're looking at here. It'll give you your room number. That's the number that the kids will put in to join the quizzes and things that you set up. So you have that to use. You've got a system to manage your quizzes. So if you wanted to look at that, in this page, it will allow you to create quizzes. That's where you'll start from, or import quizzes if you have some that are in an Excel spreadsheet format. You can look at the quizzes that you've already created, which you can see. I'm going to look at the malaprop quiz today. But if I were to want to edit that particular quiz, I could go in and I can make any changes that I want to it. And you can see the quizzes are made up of questions. You can add pictures if you'd like to. You can even add slight answers to the questions or comments underneath. So for example, if I wanted to edit this particular question and add a comment to it, when I clicked on that, it gives me the option to do pictures. I can put my content in for what the question is. I can put my answers in. I can add additional answers. And I can add an explanation if I want the students to see something after they're done. That can be posted in there too. So that is sort of question creation and quiz creation, quick description for you. You can also access the reports from all old quizzes in here. So for example, one of my old quizzes, Huck Finn chapter 17 through 32, I could view the chart from that test day. If I click right there, it'll show me these are my students and this is how they scored. I could switch it to just how far they have completed it so I can see who's finished to kind of keep track of that. And then the answers that they gave, they will turn green if they are correct, and they will turn red if they are inaccurate. So all of that is a part of the dashboard. You've got options when you get to this main dashboard as well. To start a quiz, you want to start one you already have. You could throw in a quick question if you'd like to. You could develop it into a space race, which is very entertaining. The kids get to pick a sort of icon, and whatever that icon is will race across the screen when the kids who have put themselves into groups or you've put into groups complete correct answers. It'll move their little piece across the page. So that is what a space race is basically. And then you could poll the students, or you could put an exit ticket and have them all respond to that, and this will keep all of their feedback. So it's really nice for a lot of things. When they do respond, you can see here their name will pop up, their progress, as I said, and you can check it to the score if you want to. The score is just based on how many questions they've answered so far. So obviously the student only answered 4 questions, so that's the progress that they've made at this point. I'm going to show you what the student panel looks like. When the students go to log in, it asks for the room name first, and that is actually our room number, 183002. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in, 183002. Join room. It'll ask me to enter my name. You want to do last name first. That's why they say Donna Noble over here is Noble Donna. So Armour Miss done. That way it'll be scored in the correct order, and then I'll start to answer the questions. I'm just going to answer randomly. It's which is correct for all intents and purposes. Okay, it tells me what the correct answer was. I was correct. What is correct here? Car insurance, assurance, or insurance? Going to go ahead and submit my answer again. Again, it is correct. I set it up so that when the students answer, they are going to actually get the correct answer pop up immediately for them, but you can set it up so that they don't get the answers if you're worried about cheating or things like that. It's always an option too, and I'll show you how to set one up in a minute. And once we get a few more of these, then I'll pop back to the other screen. But that's some examples of what you might come across there. So that's what the students will see, and they can use any kind of device that they'd like to for it. If I go back to my teacher page again, you can see Miss Armour in there. She's got all of her green marks. She's 28% scored right now and probably 28% finished. Yep, there we go, 28% finished. If I was happy with that, I could finish the test, and then I have choices about whether I want to get reports as a graph, view the chart, or I could do dashboard. I oftentimes will like to get reports because I like to get an Excel spreadsheet of their scores in totals for me to save. So I could just choose that and then email it to myself, which is what I most often do, but you can download it, and supposedly you can actually put it on your Google Drive. However, it's always been grayed out for me, so I don't know if that's a function that they just haven't put into use yet, but that's not something that I've used with it, so I can't really speak to that. So if I wanted to start a quiz or a space race, for example, we'll go ahead and start a space race. I'm going to click on that button. It'll ask me to select the quiz I want them to take, so let's just have them take the Puck Fin quiz. I indicate the number of teams that I want, so maybe I want to do 4 teams. I can student select teams, or I could auto-assign teams if there's a particular number of students that we want to be on each one. The only thing that makes auto-selecting teams better is that you won't have a million students on one team and then one student on another team, which has happened to me in the past. It was just for review purposes, so it wasn't a big problem, but that's something to consider. And then, like I was saying before with this one, the kids get to choose their icon. They could go with a bear, they could go with a bicycle, they could go with a bee. The really popular one was the unicorn. So you can choose what you want, and then that's what will appear as you start to do it. Now, you can disable student feedback or disable student results if you want to, but I usually just leave those as they are, and then I'll change it on the screen if it's something that I'm concerned about people seeing. But as the students progress through this, their unicorn of whatever color team they're on will actually extend across the screen into the end when they're finished. And that's essentially what a space race on Socrative looks like. Very similarly, if I were going to start a quiz, I'm just going to X out of that. If we're going to start a quiz, I'm going to click that. I'm going to choose the quiz, and then it's got a few more options here as far as settings. I can also make it student paced or teacher paced, but I usually like it to be student paced with immediate feedback because I like them to get the scores. But like I said before, if you don't want them to see what the answers are as they go, student paced, student navigation is another good option to try. Again, you can disable student names, randomize the question order this way. That's really nice because then it's a little bit harder to cheat. And also randomize the answer order so that when you have a B, it's not necessarily the same B as the person next to you, which is nice too. You can disable student feedback on this one or their results if you wanted to, but as you start it, you've got some options here too. Like if I didn't want to show the names of the students, I could just mark that off. If I didn't want to show what their answers were, I could do that, and all we would see is the progress that they're making based on sort of their number in order. So that's another option there for you. But that's basically Socrative, and I really like using it. The kids have enjoyed it, especially the space races. Really great practice for tests that you might be giving in class that are paper, but they can take the place of the tests too, especially if you use those functions to hide the answers and scramble their scores and things like that, the order that the questions are given in. So great tool, and again, I hope you'll try this out yourself.